Welcome back. In this lesson, we'll be exploring how to handle events in React. Now, what are events? So events are like actions like click or key presses that trigger response in your app. Now, React makes handling events very straightforward. To handle events, you just have to define the event handler as a function and then attach them to elements using JSX attributes. Let's see an example. We'll be creating an event handler and then attach it to a button. So let's create our button that says click me. So this is our button component. We can add an onClick JSS attribute to our button and then define an event handler to attach to it. Let's say our event handler is called greetMe. So we'll create a function for that. And whenever we trigger this function, it will log you clicked me to the console. So to attach this to our onClick attributes, we'll just have to pass in the name of the function here. Notice that we did not call the function. We just passed in the name of the function. And if we save that and we go to our browser and we open the console here, to do that, you can just right click and export elements. And you go to the console. If we click on it, you'll see you clicked me. And if we continue to click on it multiple times, we'll see that we clicked it multiple times, 8 times here. Now, let's say a little about event bubbling and capturing. Now, event bubbling and capturing are fundamental concepts in web development that describe how events flow through the DOM when a user interacts with a web page. Now, let's break it in simple terms. An event is something that happens on a web page, like a user clicking a button, typing a text, or hovering over an element. When an event occurs, it triggers a response from your web application, like showing a message or changing the color of a button or doing something. Now, when an event happens, it doesn't just affect the element you interacted with. It can also affect its parents and sometimes even the whole page. This is where event bubbling and capturing comes in. Now, React events follow the standard DOM event flow, which include bubbling and capturing phases. Event bubbling is the opposite of event capturing. Normally, event bubbles up from the element you interacted with to its parent elements one by one until it reaches the top. But event capturing, instead of starting at the target element, like the button that we clicked on, the event starts at the top of the document like its parent and will then work its way down to the target element. So let's see an example. So let's delete this. And let's say you have a button inside a div. Now, if we put an onClick event here and just say console.log and we also put an onClick event on the button, if we save this and go to our browser and let's refresh that and then we click on this, you see I am the button displaying first before this is the parent. Now, the parent is wrapping the button, but the button event is being registered first before the parent event. Now, that was event bubbling. But in event capturing, if I do this on click capture, if I click the button, you will see this is the parent first responding before I am the button. So that's the difference between event bubbling and event capturing. Now, one last thing we'll cover in this lesson is conditional rendering. Now, let's do something relating to that. Let's say we have state here, just like we learned about in the previous lesson. And let's say we have a function here that toggles the visibility and we can shorten our arrow function to set is visible to the opposite of whatever is visible was. And then we have a button here that toggles the visibility. And on click of that button, we can toggle the visibility and conditionally render the title that our button will be showing. So we can do something here and say if it's visible is true, then show hide, else show. So right now we can see show content, and if we click that, we'll see hide content. But let's use it on an actual content and let's see how it will look like. So we can have a paragraph here, but first we can open curly braces to be able to write JavaScript inside our JSX, and we can say if it's visible, then show, have a paragraph that says this is a conditionally rendered content. So when we refresh, we see that our content is not showing. If we click on the button, we are able to see our content.